What up, guys? This is your boy Dedrian Colon from House of Wrestling, and this is my review for the 2022 Royal Rumble. Whew. This was very predictable. This was a very predictable Royal Rumble. The surprises were kind of predictable. The outcomes of certain matches were predictable, and the ending was very predictable. The only thing that wasn't predictable was the WrestleMania sign that both the winner of the women's and men's Royal Rumble matches point to caught on fire twice. Yes, the WrestleMania sign caught on fire twice. The first match was Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Cool thing about this match was Seth Rollins coming out, his entrance. He came out to the Shield theme. He came out dressed up in the Shield gear, came through the crowd, kind of playing mind tricks with Roman Reigns. It was a really solid match until the ending when Roman Reigns wouldn't let go of a submission hold and it ended in the DQ. All this build, all the storytelling, callbacks to their time in the Shield, the vignettes, the video packages, and a DQ. And when that happened, you just felt the energy, the excitement, the interest that, was building. Like, as soon as the pay-per-view started, you just felt it in the crowd and just whatever people were tweeting and everything. As soon as that happened, that's when it shifted, where everyone's like, oh, damn, they're going to do the usual. I should not have my expectations high for this pay-per-view. And many people did not have their expectations high for this pay-per-view. I didn't have my expectations high for this because if there was a percentage of predictions that came true, myself and many other wrestling content creators and those who cover pro wrestling, everybody's predictions were like 95% accurate. Basically, the outcomes of matches and everything, nothing stood out. Nothing didn't stand out. Right after the Roman Reigns Seth Rollins match, we had the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. This was pretty cool. I said it all week. Mickie James sold this, not only the women's Royal Rumble match, the whole Royal Rumble premium live event. When she was announced that she was going to be a participant in the women's Royal Rumble match on SmackDown, I believe that was I believe it was the first. It was the first SmackDown of the year when it was announced then that she was going to be in the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble, and that she is the Knockouts Women's Champion. WWE acknowledged that. Then Impact acknowledged that she was in the Royal Rumble, and Impact has been acknowledging her involvement in the Royal Rumble. They actually did a better build to the Royal Rumble than the WWE, and she sold it. Mickie James, I'm going to say it on this review, Mickie James is the reason why most people were interested in this Royal Rumble match, or even the pay-per-view total. Mickie James. You can disagree all you want, but most people know you wanted to see how this was going to play out, if there was going to be other involvement from Impact Wrestling wrestlers in the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. And I mean, she sold it. She sold it. It was cool that she came out to Hardcore Country. She came out with the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship belt. That was all cool. I wish she would have lasted a little bit longer, but it's WWE's thing. In that match, we saw the surprise returns of Melina, Kelly, Michelle McCool, Cameron. We had Ivory, we had Brie Bella, we had Mickie James, Alicia Fox, Summer Rae, Nikki Bella, Sarah Logan, Lita, Mighty Molly, and Ronda Rousey. This was the highlight of the whole Royal Rumble premium live event. This was the highlight. Sonya Deville coming out with her jacket, playing the whole, if I have my jacket, it's, I'm authority. If I don't, I'm a wrestler. Her and Naomi got into it in the match and everything. Naomi wound up eliminating her. I wish they just end that storyline already. Like, it's so like ended already. What else was there? The funny part of this whole Rumble match with the women was Ivory coming out and she's on the microphone. She's coming out in her ring, not her ring, her right to censored uh, wardrobe and everything, and she's just talking crap and there's no respect. You women don't do this, you don't do that. She gets in the Rumble match. She's still talking on the mic, and Rhea Ripley's the one who eliminated her, and she's while on the mic. That was pretty funny. Um, Mighty Molly came out. It was really cool seeing the contrast between Mighty Molly or Mighty Molly. Is that my? Yes, Mighty Molly, Molly Holly. Man, that's a tongue twister. And Nikki ASH. See, that's how weird this pay per view was. It's got me tongue twisted and tongue tied, man. So you had that interaction between Nikki ASH and Mighty Molly, good versus bad, that whole dynamic. It'd be cool if they actually play that out on Raw, because it, like, one thing you can all agree who are going to watch this review is that the thing that WWE lacks in their storytelling is simple logic. And let's see, you have a good superhero, you have a bad villain, superhero. Gee, put them in a feud. It is what it is. Yeah, Ronda Rousey in this, when she came out to a huge pop. The last, was it 6 people? It was really cool how they played that off. Again, this goes back to the predictions. Everyone, and I'm going to say everyone, by everyone, 95% of the people on social media and wrestling content creators predicted this. And I even predicted this, that if Ronda Rousey wasn't in the Royal Rumble, then you could possibly see Bianca Belair winning the Royal Rumble. But if Ronda Rousey was in the Rumble, she's winning it. It happened. So when she won, it's like, okay, you see where this is going. It's good. I'm glad she's back. She's always been cool. I've always liked her work. She reminds me a lot of the progression that Kurt Angle and Ken Shamrock, that seamless transition into professional wrestling that they made. And she's cool. I like it. She's got an attitude. She's an authentic character. People like that. That's what you want. But yeah, other than that, this was like, they maybe out of the 5, there's maybe 5 men had loud reactions, but most of the women in this women's Royal Rumble match had bigger reaction than the men's participants in their men's Royal Rumble match. From there, you had the Doudrop Becky Lynch match. This was pretty solid. I feel bad for him because during this match is when the WrestleMania sign caught fire. They had to evacuate a section, and in the middle of the match, they're putting out the fire. They lower it down, they put it out, and they raise it back up. And as you're watching the match, you just see the crowd look to their right. And it's not like a few people. You see a whole section of people that's facing the hard cam looking to their right. Like, just, man, what's going on over there? Or actually, to their left. You get what I'm saying? And it was just like, man, what's going on here? And it was a pretty solid match. But again, another match where you predicted Becky Lynch is going to win. Like, there's no way Doudrop they haven't positioned Doudrop into a position where you think, man, she could actually win this match. No, she's been taking L's from Bianca Belair and a few other people. So you didn't believe it. From there, you had, what was it you had? You had Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. This match, it was a solid match until the end, which is kind of, here we go, going back to the Roman Reigns Seth Rollins match. Brock Lesnar Bobby Lashley, they're just going at it against each other. I mean, there's boom, 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 boom. It reminded you of the Brock Lesnar um, Goldberg match from WrestleMania in 2017. I can't remember what number of WrestleMania that was, but back in 2017 when they fought in Orlando, and this was pretty solid. And then, as both men are laying down because Brock Lesnar hit the referee twice, which didn't make sense. It's like you hit him once, and then you pick up Bobby Lashley, the F5, and you literally see the ref there, and you still didn't make any sense. So these guys are on the floor. Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. And Roman Reigns comes in. Superman punches Brock Lesnar. He looks at Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman gives him the belt. Roman Reigns uses the belt to hit Brock Lesnar, throws the belt on the ground, and Paul Heyman leaves with with Roman Reigns. See, this is how this event gone. Like, I'm twisting words around and everything. And I know a lot of you feel that way after watching this premium live event. So now we have Paul Heyman with Roman Reigns. And by the way, Bobby Lashley won. He is now a 3-time WWE champion. It's cool. I like the representation, but the way they're going about it is it's borderline not interesting, because it would have been perfect with Bobby Lashley winning. It would have been perfect if, going back to day one, if Brock Lesnar didn't pin Big E and he pinned Seth Rollins or Kevin Owens, that gives Big E a legitimate reason to say, hey, you never beat me for my title. I want a rematch. Brock Lesnar can, whatever, brush it off. The Royal Rumble comes around. Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley fight. Boom. Now, with Bobby Lashley being the world champ, now you have a legitimate reason for Big E wanting to get his title because the other champion evaded him. And now you have Big E and Bobby Lashley that have a legitimate beef where you don't lower the interest and the, his draw as far as the fans and just the fans being invested in Big E. Because now, we'll get to it a little bit later. Now, Big E got a limit like nothing. He got a limit easily, like nothing. Former world champ who represented you guys who represented the WWE on so many urban media outlets that no other champion would probably go to, and so many cool things. He did announcing for UFC and boxing, big fights. The Iowa football game, he did stuff there. He was on the Breakfast Club, and now he's just another guy in the mid card with Kofi Kingston. So, I mean, I tweeted this earlier tonight. I would not be surprised if Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods is in another wrestling promotion in a year. It might be less, but I would not be surprised if they're in another promotion. Do they have, like, they never gave Kofi Kingston his rematch until 2 years later, and Big E, they had him just win tag team matches but lose single matches, but he's a world champion. That doesn't make sense. So that's my thoughts for the Lesnar Bobby Lashley match. And I like Bobby Lashley and I like Brock Lesnar, but it's just, man, the way WWE creative positioned these wrestlers tonight, like it was too predictable, and you're really, I know a few people that are going to WrestleMania, and I know the whole spectacle of WrestleMania is attractive, but when it comes to like the card and just the storytelling, like, it ain't that attractive. I can just stay home and watch it. It is what it is. So after the Brock Lesnar Bobby Lashley match, we had Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Miz and Maurice. This was a pretty solid match. What it felt when you were watching this match, it did feel like the crowd was gassed out because you experienced the Women's Royal Rumble match, and it was, so much energy. Ronda Rousey came back, and so many cool women that returned, and it was just a fun that. Again, that's what sold the event, and that's where a lot of people were just enjoying themselves and having fun in the event. And it just felt, once you got to Edge and Beth Phoenix versus The Miz and Maurice, you already had 2 title matches before this. So it was just like, man, and I said it when it happened, I'm like, man, it would have been better if they would have had if they would have switched the Edge Beth Phoenix, Miz and Maurice match with the Becky Lynch Doudrop match. If they would have switched it, because it would have made so much sense. But I mean, it was a solid match. But by that time, I mean, the crowd, there was pretty cool spots. Maurice and Beth Phoenix, shout out to them. They still got it. Edge and The Miz, I mean, this was a really solid match of seasoned WWE performers at a very big event. That's the best way to describe this match. You can go back and watch it. Boom, boom, boom. Edge, awesome face. Miz, the annoying, shisty, scheming, conniving heel, and his wife is assisting them, and Beth Phoenix. It was a really cool match. It was a fun match, but again, with everything that transpired from the first match to what happened with the Doudrop match, and then what happened with the Lesnar Bobby Lashley match, by the time it got to the Edge, Beth Phoenix, Bobby Lashley, the Miz and Maurice match, like, the crowd, you felt it. And just seeing a lot of the tweets and responses on social media, whether it was TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, a lot of people just had this feeling like Brock Lesnar's going to win the Royal Rumble. That's what happened. Even before the Royal Rumble match started, when Brock Lesnar lost his title, everyone's like, Brock Lesnar's going to be in the Royal Rumble and win. That's what it was. So then after that, you had a video package for I forgot the gentleman's name, but it was a really cool, touching acknowledgement of the military, the guy in the military who was ringside. Really cool video package. It was that was cool to honor him, and just showing what he went through and everything. That's kudos to WWE for that. That was a really touching video package that they put together for him. Pardon me for not remembering his name and anything like that. So after that, you had the Men's Royal Rumble, and this was night and day compared to the Women's Royal Rumble match. I'm going to repeat that. The Men's Royal Rumble match and the Women's Royal Rumble match was night and day. You had so many people in the Women's Royal Rumble match where the crowd just came unglued and cheered and popped and everything. And in the men's match, you had very few men who the crowd were just like, yeah, it was just night and day. And again, this one, it's crazy because in the Women's Royal Rumble match, you kind of knew that Ronda Rousey was coming back and being in the Royal Rumble with the reports that were out there. And with the Men's Royal Rumble match, you kind of sense, okay, if Lesnar loses, he's going to be in the Royal Rumble match. So you have these two matches where it's pretty much very predictable who's going to win. The Ronda Rousey match, now, for me, I didn't mind it. But, of course, some people, she shouldn't have won and stuff like that. But the crowd reaction was more positive to Ronda Rousey than it was to Brock Lesnar. And come to find out, after the Men's Royal Rumble match, when Brock Lesnar won, the WrestleMania sign caught fire again. I don't know if that... It's like, man, is that an omen or something? That is not good. But yeah, this was night and day. A lot of people, once it got to like the 15th participant, everyone's just like, man, this Rumble match is just like dry. Like it's it's all right, okay, like all right. And I think what hurt was, and this isn't a knock at any of the wrestlers. Again, any of you guys who watch my reviews, you know I will not bash the wrestlers. What I will bash is the damn creative that put this together, because the wrestlers are only doing what creative is giving them, especially in the WWE. So, I mean, you had guys come out, and between the first 15 wrestlers, I can tell you honestly, you had Shinsuke Nakamura. You could put Montez Ford. You could put Johnny Knoxville. Pretty much those guys had the biggest reactions for the first 15 participants in the Royal Rumble. Everyone else was just, and it's unfortunate because AJ Styles was the first participant, but you've put him as a heel for the past year. So why would anyone cheer for him? And that just really, mind you, this is the last match. You've already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches, including a Women's Royal Rumble match. And that's how the Men's Royal Rumble match pretty much started, with the first 15 wrestlers. And it was very lethargic in how it was very lethargic creatively. I mean, the wrestlers are going to try their best to get it over because it's them, their character. But man, this was really, this was a challenge to sit through this. One cool thing was the interaction there was a face-off between AJ Styles and Bobby Roode. You had the crowd started chanting TNA, TNA. It was like, man, that's pretty cool. I like that. The Johnny Knoxville was freaking hilarious because he gets in the match and he starts getting his offense on Sami Zayn and everything, and then all of a sudden, all the wrestlers just beat the hell out of him and throw him out. Like I can't remember who it was that clothesline, but man, he took a clothesline and they just tossed him over. From there, the first 15 wrestlers, number 15 was Baron Corbin. After that, you had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could put Lesnar. You had 7 wrestlers who had huge reactions to the crowd. So it's crazy because now looking back on it, it's like if they would have reverted it, it actually would have been a lot better. If the last 15 was actually the first 15, it would have been actually pretty exciting. But yeah, I don't know how they put this was not okay. And was Joe Pearl? I believe he's with Fightful and everything. He tweeted, he's like, "Wow, I'm really enjoying this tag team Royal Rumble." And when he tweeted that, I didn't realize, like, wait a minute, there's mostly tag teams in here. Like, it's like, oh man, like it's just lazy creative. Let's see, the cool thing about it was Riddle riding a scooter to the Royal Rumble, to the ring. Shinsuke had a loud reaction. One thing that I really like, it was just very clunky. And this goes back to how they've been booking New Day for, man, you could say 3 years. Ever since Kofi won the WWE Championship, ever since then, they have booked the New Day very weird. Like, it's like a roller coaster. Very weird. He tried to do, it was weird how they shot it. Like, he tried to do, where he always has these crazy ways how he stays into the match and everything. So he tries to jump on the barricade and his feet touch the floor and they catch the camera, and it was just really weird. Like, that's how you, like, what? That's how you eliminate Kofi? What? Like, it was just like, huh? That doesn't make sense. Bad Bunny came out. That was pretty cool. He had a huge pop. He got some offense in. It was funny when he took the F5 from Brock Lesnar. Again, when Brock Lesnar came in, he was number 30. Go figure. That as soon as his music hit, that crowd, there was no type of, oh man, this is great. It was, you had a few reactions because the last two men were Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. But then again, you knew how the outcome was because they were the final two men. Was it? They faced off in the 2020 Royal Rumble where Drew McIntyre eliminated him. And it's like, okay, WWE's known for 50-50 booking. Brock Lesnar's going to eliminate him. And it was just very predictable. Yeah, this was a pay-per-view. I can say it did not live up to the hype. They had a golden opportunity to do something really cool and really unique with the buzz that they had from Mickie James, being the Impact Wrestling's Knockouts champion, the few surprises that were being leaked out there, and it felt like a stadium version, a stadium size Monday Night Raw for 3 hours. That's what it felt like. It felt like a stadium size Monday Night Raw. So, I normally I would say, well, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen on Monday. Honestly, the way this pay-per-view played out and how predictable it was, I really don't care how it plays out on Monday Night Raw. I don't care how this plays out because they haven't given me any reason to care. Maybe the Ronda Rousey stuff and how everything played out on the women's, that's the only thing. Outside of that, there's nothing, you really didn't make Bianca Belair special in the Royal Rumble because you had her tossed out. She wasn't the final two. It was Ronda Rousey and Charlotte. You had Charlotte eliminate her. You had Big E get tossed out like nothing, and it's like, this whole let it play out stuff. I'm sorry, WWE does not get a pass from me with the whole let it play out because if they did have a long-term storytelling, like 5 minutes later, they're going to forget. But yeah, this pay-per-view, to me, it was very underwhelming. I really feel for the wrestlers because you look at this whole card, it's stacked with talent. But the way they position this talent and this creative and storytelling, it was so predictable with the weeks leading up to it. It was so predictable. Yeah, man, oh man. Yeah, some people have tweeted that this was a waste of time. Honestly, I can see why they would say this was a waste of time. I'll wrap this up quickly. Outside of the surprises, Bad Bunny, Ronda Rousey, Johnny Knoxville, the women returning. I'm trying to think of who else was there. Drew McIntyre, returning. We thought he was going to be gone for a while. Outside of that, again, this was a Monday Night Raw in the stadium. And that's what it was. The Royal Rumble was a Monday Night Raw in the stadium. That's all it was. That's how I see it. So take it for what it's worth. I know some of you may not agree with it, some of you might, but this could have been done a lot better. WWE had a golden opportunity to capitalize on something, and I wouldn't say they fumbled the ball, but maybe they forgot that they had a ball to run with and just were in their own world. And it's unfortunate because they could have done some really cool stuff. And honestly, now looking forward to Elimination Chamber WrestleMania, again, it's very predictable to see where this is going to go. It's not, this is interesting. It's very predictable, which is unfortunate. But we'll see what happens. Man. So, like, share, comment, subscribe, follow me on all social media platforms at Dedrian180. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Thank you guys for following, the views, the comments, all that. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. So, again, this is my review for the 2022 WWE Royal Rumble. I am Dedrian Colon. This is the House of Wrestling. I am out. And by out, I'm going to get some sleep because this was a very draining freaking pay-per-view.